All right, the objective of this lesson is that you'll be able to find the percent of a number. This is in chapter 6 of our textbook. The type of problems we're going to be doing here, a real world example of this would be if you wanted to buy a house and the house was $117,000. In case you don't know it, you have to have 20% of that value to be able to give the bank before they will loan you the rest of the money. So the type of problems we're going to be doing are finding what is 20% of $117,000. This is the proportion that we're going to use to do this, and you need to memorize this. It's simply is over of equals percent over 100. And in the following slides, you'll see how we use this. But for now, you just need to know that you need to memorize this. Is over of equals percent over 100. So if you want to pause the video and copy this down, go right ahead. I'm going to the next page. So here are some examples of the types of problems we're doing. So the first problem says find 5% of 300. Or what is 5% of 300? So if we look at our proportion I said you needed to memorize, is over of equals percent over 100, you can see that the 5% here goes in the percent spot. Imagine that. The of 300 goes in the of spot. So the only thing we have left is the is. And that's what we're going to be finding. Another way to think of this is what is 5% of 300. That's what we're going to find, what it is. All right, so let's fill in the numbers. So the is, we said, is what we don't know. So I'm going to put an X for the is. That's my unknown. The of is 300. The percent part is 5%, so we put a 5 here. And then the bottom of this side of the proportion is always 100. It's always 100. So again, is over of equals percent over 100. And hopefully you remember from earlier in the year how we solve a proportion. If you don't, here's how you do it. Multiply the diagonal numbers and divide by the remaining number. So to find what x is equal to 5 times 300 divided by 100. So multiply the diagonals, 5 times 300, divide by the remaining number. So if you put that in your calculator, 5 times 300 divided by 100, you'll get that x is 15. And that's your answer. Okay, so we'll do 2 more examples. Hopefully by the end of the third one, you'll see that this is really pretty easy. So in this one, find 40% of 70, or what is 40% of 70? 40%, so that's going to go in the percent spot, of 70, so that's going to go in the of part. And again, we're trying to find what that is. What is 40% of 70? So again, is what we're trying to find for these problems. So is going to be x. The of, we said, is 70. The percent is 40. And we always have 100 down here. Now we just have a proportion to solve again. Multiply, divide. So x is equal to 40 times 70 divided by 100. X is equal to 28. So 28 is 40% of 70. Okay? So hopefully you're starting to see that this is pretty simple. After what we just got done doing with fractions, my hope is that you'll find this to be pretty easy. So what is 150% of 20? 150% of 20, so that goes in the of spot. So is what we're trying to find again. Of 20, so 20 is my of. 150%, so that's my percent. This number is always 100. So now we can multiply the diagonals, divide by the remaining number. So x is equal to 150 times 20 divided by 100. This part that I'm writing over here on the right side where I'm showing my work here, where I'm showing what I'm multiplying and what I'm dividing, I guess I won't require you to write this. But if you're not going to write this, then please draw the line and do the circle so that I see that you're doing the right thing in your calculator. You're multiplying, dividing. If you'll do that for me and get the right answers, then that'll be good. So 150 times 20 divided by 100 is equal to 30. And that's all there is. So I'll give you a few practice problems for you to do. So you can try these, pause the video, give them a try, and then hit play again, and I'll show you the answers. Alright, so hopefully you have the answers now and you're going to check them. So again, we have x over 100 equals 15 over 100. Multiply, divide, and you get x equals 15. Which this one, if you just look at it, 15 over 100 is equal to what over 100? Obviously 15, if these two things are going to be equal. Number 2, 155% of 160. So we have x over 160 equals 155 over 100. Multiply and divide. And I have to get out my calculator and find out what this is, because I can't do that in my head. So 155 times 160 divided by 100, and my calculator says 248. Hopefully you're getting all these right. So now the last one, we go back to that example I had of the house. So if you wanted to buy a house that was $117,000, the bank needs you to put 20% down or come up with 20% of that cash before they'll loan you the rest. How much cash do you have to have? So the is what we're trying to find. Our of is $117,000. 20% over 100, multiply, divide. Again, I'm going to use my calculator. 20 times 117,000 divided by 100, and I get $23,400. So if you wanted to buy that house before the bank would loan you the money, you'd have to come up with $23,400, and then you could borrow whatever the rest was after the $23,400 was subtracted from that. Alright, so that concludes this lesson. Hopefully this is easier than what we just got done doing, and will boost your confidence a little bit.